Hi and welcome to next tutorial. In today's lesson we will look at the XLOOKUP function in Excel. So anyways guys, let's jump in. So we have some examples here where we are going to be using XLOOKUP. The first one is quite a simple table over here. We're just going to check their salary and then give them a bonus according to their salary. Now you could have done this in VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP works fine, but XLOOKUP, it just makes it that much easier and it's a little bit better. So let's learn how to do that in XLOOKUP. So the first thing we need to do is we need to write equals XLOOKUP to start the formula. Now you've got some things that you need to put in. The first one is the lookup value. So this salary here is going to be my lookup value. I'm going to press comma and then I'm going to look up the array. So this is what you want to compare the salary to. And in this case, it's going to be all of these results. So then I'm going to press F4 to fix that. And then I'm going to press comma to get to the return array. Now the return array is actually what you want to put on that cell. So in this case, it's all of the bonuses over here. And I'm just going to press F4 again, and that puts the dollar signs in there and that locks it. And that's called absolute referencing. But anyways, once you've done that, you then get to these options over here. So when you don't need it, all I'm going to do is just going to skip that one. But the match mode, this is what you will have to change. Because if let's say for example this guy over here, Peter Minted, all right, his salary is 99,000, so his bonus should be 25%, but there's no 99,000 lookup value. So what we are going to do is we are going to put an exact match or next smaller item, so it's going to be a -1. So if I press enter on that, now John Mikes' salary at 55,000, so it will be somewhere in there. He will be receiving 5% bonus. So now when I drag that down, you can see that all of these guys, for example, Red Garks, he's only on 40,000, so he's not really getting any bonus there. And then to calculate the total salary, it's just basically the salary times the bonus and add that to the salary. So if we go salary times bonus plus the salary, and that will be their total new salary. Now what's cool with XLOOKUP is this: if I change any of these values, so let's say for example I grab this and I move it to up there, nothing changes here. In VLOOKUP, you know, if you were to move some of these things around or they weren't in the same, you know, like data type and things like that, then sometimes it would get stuffed up. So that's why XLOOKUP is a really great option. Anyways, let's move to the second example. So here we have another example, and this is a horizontal lookup. So again, all right, we're gonna run with XLOOKUP. So I'm just gonna click XLOOKUP and press tab. My lookup value is going to be this pizza over here. So then I'm going to press comma. My lookup array is going to be all of these. All right, now I don't need to fix it because there's only one cell here that we're working on. But my return array is going to be the price. And now this time we are going to get into our match mode, and this time we want an exact match. So we're just going to make sure that there's a 1 there. Then I'm going to close the bracket, and there we have it. All right, cheese pizza costs $5.50. If I change that to ham, cool, everything works as expected. So that's really cool. Anyways, moving on to the third example. So the third example here, we have a grade sheet. So the grade sheet here is, now we have a whole range of values. All right, so 90, 50, 60% extra, and we have their grades associated with those values. So for example, if James gets 66%, all right, he should be sitting on a D. So it's very similar to the first example. So we're just going to run with XLOOKUP again. So equal XLOOKUP, we're going to look up our value, which is going to be our score, which is going to be F4. Then we are going to look up the array over here. So our bunch of scores, we're going to fix that by pressing F4. And then we're going to look at our return value. and we're also going to fix that so we can drag the formula down. So now we need to go back into match mode, and we need to make sure that we're looking at these two variants here. So let's first have a look at if it's -1. Let's close that bracket. All right, and now when I drag that down, you can see here that, for example, Adrian, who got 98, is gonna get an A. If it wasn't a -1, for example, if it was a 1, all right, see how the grade jumps up and it's a little bit different. So we have to make sure that we know the difference between, you know, negative and positive. All right. So yeah, so that's example 3, a simple grade sheet. Now we're going to move on to the final example. All right. And this one is using wildcard characters. Okay. So here I've got some NBA teams, and I've got, you know, Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics, Houston Rockets, etc. The wildcards are asterisk and question mark. Now, a question mark represents only one character, whereas an asterisk represents an unlimited amount of characters. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to work off this, which is an incomplete city name. All right, and then we are going to return the actual, you know, the name of the team over here. All right, so now how do we do this? Again, it's going to be in XLOOKUP. So we're going to start with our XLOOKUP function, and with the lookup value now, we are going to put in our wildcard. Now, to put in the wildcard successfully, you need to put it in quotations. So we're going to have our asterisk there, and then we are going to have ampersand, and we are going to connect it with this cell here. Okay, so that's going to be our lookup value. We are going to look it up. Well, our lookup array is going to be over here. So this is where we are going to look it up from. So, I mean, we can fix it, but we don't really need to. And our return array is what we are going to return. So if it's got something to do with Chicago, it's going to return Bulls. So we might as well just fix that as well. Now, when we get into our match mode, all right, when we press number 2 for the wildcard character match, all right, this will make this formula work. If we choose something else, it's just not going to work. So we're just going to make sure that there's a 2 there. And I'm just going to close the bracket, press enter, and look at that. All right, I could write anything from, you know, let's say Chicago. All right, and it's going to come back with the Bulls. If I write something like LES for Los Angeles, there it goes, and it comes up with the Lakers. So that's pretty cool function in XLOOKUP where you can actually use wildcards. So when we look at this formula over here, the asterisk at the start means that there could be an unlimited amount of letters or characters before it connects with the rest of this cell. But if you want any letters anywhere, all you'll need to do is just copy the asterisk and put it at the end of the actual cell as well, and then any letters that we will find that are in here will also come up with the correct name. But anyways guys, that is a simple look at using XLOOKUP. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.